Hello and welcome, it's Bushwhacker here, and welcome back to my fuel facility series. Today we're going to be doing some updates after the big fire that we had, and this time hopefully we won't have an explosion like we did last time. And like always, let's go ahead and get started. So, like I said, in our last video, we tried to melt down the oxide and the volatiles, and we had a bit of a fire, so I've cleaned that up. And today we're going to do it where we're not going to blow it up. At least that's the goal. I actually did try this out beforehand because I didn't want to have another big fail like I did last time. So, the goal is going to be to use furnaces to sort or to melt down each of the products. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to grab our furnace, maybe, and we're going to place our furnace down. Actually, this is the correct orientation. So yeah, we're going to place our furnace down right. We can place it right here. Yeah, that should be good. And then we'll use our authoring tool just to finish this up because we're cheating. Okay, let's grab our other furnace and we're going to do the exact same thing. We'll place it down right, I kind of want to line that up right there. There we go. And then again, we'll finish it up. Okay, now that we have our furnaces down, we need to use some chutes to attach them. So the top of these is the input. So we're going to grab some chutes and we're just going to connect these up. Now, one thing I found is if you put too many of the oxide or the volatiles in, they would get a bit stuck. So I'm going to have these come up. And honestly, I think this will be enough. This will be like 6 pieces. Yeah, this is going to be enough. And you know what? I'm going to put a window here, and I'll grab my, where's my wrench? Oh, right here. I'll grab my wrench, and I'm going to put another window right here. And that way we'll be able to look in there and see. So then, finally, we need to do another corner to attach it just like that. There we go. Now we'll have 6 pieces of oxide to go in there. Now, obviously, it's probably best to make sure that these are nice and stacked before we put them in here. Let's grab some more chutes. And we're going to do the same thing over here. And I think this is our volatile one. So put a window, put a window, put a corner, another corner, and one more corner. There we go. And I'm pressing, I'm pressing C to make sure that when you press something down, or when you have like the chute that isn't lined up, if you press C, it'll line it up automatically with that. So that's how I'm doing that quickly. Now the next thing we need to do is to connect up the pipes. So I'm going to grab some pipes. I think I have some right here. And don't mind this pump. I accidentally got some bad stuff in my oxygen tank when everything exploded. So right now I'm just making sure I drain it all the way so we don't have anything in there that we don't want. So now we're just going to connect the pipe to the output, so the furnace output. We don't need the furnace input, and we also don't need the furnace chute output either, because it's just going to be melting it for us. Now it is kind of an expensive way to do it, but it makes sure that things don't explode, so obviously that is a good thing. Just make sure, yeah, that is the output. So we'll connect these up, maybe. We'll go down here, over, and straight. I guess honestly I don't need all that piping, but it's fine. We'll go to this output and we'll do the exact same thing. And yeah, then we're going to be very close to good to go. So take the corner, we'll go straight, and there we go. So now what's going to happen is, obviously, if you haven't watched the other episodes, it's quite important to kind of understand exactly what's going on here. But we have our little refrigerated area there. We drop off our stuff. It goes through the sorter. we have oxide will come out here, it'll go into this furnace, and volatiles will go out here and go into this furnace. And now looking at it, I realized I made a bit of a mistake because we need pumps. We need these pumps because if you melt the oxide here, it actually stays in the system and it can go into here. And if oxide and volatiles mix, obviously that's where you get a boom again, which we do not want. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out this piece. I'm going to take out this piece. And we will... So I'll try to clean up as I go. I'm pretty bad at that. And we will maybe connect it down. There we go. And it'll take a volume pump. So then the volume pump doesn't allow anything backwards. So it'll just allow things to pump this way. It won't allow the oxide to go into here. It won't allow the volatiles to go into this one. So that'll make sure that this stays oxide and this stays volatiles, which is exactly what we want. Actually, I might have made a bit of a mistake here. Let's just see. Cable coil. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Nope, I'm not. Okay. Where's my data connection? Okay, there my data is. Let's... Actually, although I did say I did this before, I think I had these one higher, so unfortunately I have to move these up. But that's okay. We'll just move them up one. We'll also have to change this a little bit as well. So let's move these furnaces up because we need a little bit of room underneath of them to be able to do what we want to do here. So we'll put that here. We'll put this here. There we go. And somehow that chute managed to go inside of there without it even being connected yet. And then we'll turn the chute into there. There we go. Use our authoring tool again. There we go. And finally, we can fix the piping. I do love that you can now, if you have the correct tool in your hand, you can add stuff on to the piping and you can add stuff on to the cabling as well. Although in this situation, I just want to connect it up straight. So we'll destroy that. There we go. There we go. Okay, good to go again. Now, you may be wondering why I only made this pretty short, so now only 5 pieces are going to be able to fit in there, which I think is more than enough. It isn't like you're going to be dropping off a huge amount of stuff into here, and there's still a little bit of room back here for things to kind of add up as well. But what I decided I'm going to do is I'm going to take the refrigerated section and actually extend it out one more, because I found that if you let like oxide run through these chutes, the chutes aren't like airtight, so they actually melt while they're in there. So these chutes need to be air conditioned as well. So we'll end up putting a wall here to allow that kind of air conditioning to work on them so we don't lose out on anything. Now that we raise that up a little bit, we can go ahead and put our cabling down. So let's just see. We also want to connect up the data of these, and you'll see why here in just a little bit. We want to be able to melt our stuff without having to click the button. So I made a little program that'll just pretty much melt anything that's in the furnace, which is nice. I'm going to use some junctions here. See, I'll put a junction here. There we go. Okay. Need to connect up the data on this one as well. Lots of wiring and stuff. Sorry if it is boring to you guys, but hopefully you guys are enjoying this. I think I'm going to really try to make it really nice. And then I know I'm cheating right now. I'm using RTGs to power everything, but I think in the future I'll actually like power it off of solar power and make sure that it would be very useful in a non-creative world. Definitely it would be nice in a survival world to be able to really make all of the fuel and oxygen that you need for stuff. Okay, so now we have this stuff set up. Now I found that these volume pumps are just going to have to run all the time. I could change that, but for now they're just going to run all the time, and we're going to increase them to the maximum amount because we need to pull as much out of here as possible. Now, there was a little bit of pressure in these for some reason. I don't know why, but it's draining out now. So the next, oh, there's chutes in there. We need to get that out. I think there are chutes maybe in the other one as well. That would have really bound things up. So let's open that up, dump that out. There we go. Okay, so now we have our furnaces. There's pretty much no pressure in here, which is good because we don't want it mixing with anything. So I'm going to wait just a little bit for those to drain all the way before we start throwing stuff in here. But before we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to quickly swap this computer over. And we need to do the programming chip. Yep. Because we're going to have to do just a tiny bit of programming here. So let's grab the chip. Well, I'm surprised that that is still up with that sorter motherboard out of there. But that's okay. Oh, what did I do? Oh, I didn't take it out yet. That's why. So we'll take the IC editor and close that up. And then we need to build I think logic. Yeah, there we go. Logic circuit. And I'm just going to kind of bury this in here because we're not going to have to get to it a ton. We will need to adjust some of the knobs here to start, but for now, it'll be okay. So we will connect this up, and we can throw our cable cutters in our other hand here. And let's do this. Connect, connect, and connect. There we go. Okay, now the last thing you need is the logic chip, which is I think circuit. There we go. And because all this stuff is on the same network, this computer is just going to connect right up to it. I'll turn my light off here so you guys can see this a little bit better. I'm not going to totally explain everything, but I will kind of quickly go over it. Really, all this is doing is it's activating the furnace. It is waiting a second, and then it's turning the furnace off. It's waiting a second, and then it's turning the furnace back on, and it's just looping over and over and over. That's all it is. Unfortunately, I don't think that these furnaces you're able to see whether or not something is in it in terms of like oxide or volatiles. So it just has to run all the time, which is fine with me. I didn't notice any frame rate problems. Obviously, if you're doing that with a ton of furnaces, you might run into problems. So I just exported that, so we should be able to go over to our IC and program it up. So I like having it on when you program it, but then turn it off just so you accidentally don't start making things do things you don't want them to. Oh, the other thing I need to do is I'm going to grab my labeler because labeling stuff is good. So this is going to be my furnace O2. This will be my furnace H2. So hydrogen and oxygen really should be oxide and volatiles, but that's okay. So this is furnace O2. It doesn't really matter which furnace you have it connected to, but just for sake of things lining up, that's furnace O2. This one needs to be furnace H2. There we go. And it's working. Okay. So now that it's working, we can go ahead and drop our labeler. Also, I'm going to pick up this stuff because we do not want this doing this anymore. That should be empty by now. And we'll connect this up straight. There we go. Now I'm going to grab some some paint. Spray can. Yeah, spray can white. Here we go. I'm just going to paint this back up again. And I like having oxygen white, I like having volatiles red, and I like mixed gases to be yellow. So that is how that will stay. I can drop that. I'm just going to, for the sake of things being clean, I'm going to pick this stuff up. And I did create this furnace just to destroy stuff. So we can have it a little bit more clean around here, although you can see I like having a bit of a mess. Okay, so now that this is done, I think we can turn this computer off. We don't need it. I think once you set the sorter, I'm pretty sure it just stays. We can try that here. Yeah, I didn't replace that motherboard, so it must stay. Okay, so we have connected everything up. We have our logic IC, which should be running. So the last thing we need to do is just try it out. So let's take some oxide. And we're going to just drop some oxide into our little tester here. There we go. And 50 oxide made it there. And it's slowly draining. Now, I did put in a couple yields. I think each of the yields does it for a second. So I think it's every second, maybe every 2 seconds that one melts, which is fine because I don't want to melt a ton at once and maybe for some reason accidentally like over pressurize this. So that volume pump apparently doesn't move a ton of air. But right now you can see the pressure is increasing as it's melting, but it's pretty slow. It would take a long time to make this overpressurized. You can also see that the temperature is quite low. It's 270 Kelvin, which I believe is 0, or very close to 0 Celsius. So we don't have to worry about when these two gases touch each other, them exploding or anything like that. Let's just try the volatiles. I'll throw this in here. There we go. Okay, so that's melting. And then finally, let's just throw some iron in this just to make sure that it doesn't gum anything up. It should just poop it out the back here. There we go. So now things are melting. You can see our pressure is increasing here because I turned the volatiles one off. There we go. There. So now we should be sucking everything out. Those things will drain a ton of pressure. Yeah, so that's 0. So that drains pretty much all this pressure immediately. The next thing we need to do is to enclose this in the walls here. So I'm going to take some walls. Item kit wall. And honestly, it doesn't have to look good from the inside because I don't plan on really looking at this anyway. So as long as it looks good from the outside, that is all I care about. So we'll do this to this. Yeah, we'll do it like that. Then we just need the 2 top ones here, which can go like that. Okay. Just use my little cheat authoring tool here. Oh, and it's not matching colors. Well, we'll definitely have to fix that. So we'll plug all this stuff in here. And there we go. Oh no, it's upside down. But you know, actually I kind of like the difference because this is almost like a little different area. So I'm fine with that. If I can spell here, I'm just going to paint this stuff gray. As the sun is starting to rise, just paint it up nice and gray to match everything up here. Oh yeah, that looks good. And the nice thing is all these chutes kind of empty out outside the building there. But obviously the building is not connected to that right now. So let's go inside of the building and connect everything up. One thing I've noticed as well is this room gets really cold. Yeah, it's negative 137, 138. You can see my suit freezes up. That's quite cold, and I'm using more power than I really need to be using. Oh no, I forgot my crowbar. Emergency crowbar. I don't even know what that is. Let's see what it is. Oh, really? I can't use the emergency crowbar for that. Oh, that's getting damaged. Wow. Item crowbar. Wow, that's kind of crazy. That's getting damaged because it's so cold. I feel like you wouldn't want an emergency crowbar that gets damaged because, yeah, why wouldn't you just use a normal crowbar? Because if you had a fire or something, i.e. in an emergency, you probably wouldn't want it getting destroyed. So I should just be able to destroy these walls, and it's going to be a little mad at me here for a second. There we go. And it is fine. Let's just throw this stuff into here. And the real test is going to be, so it's still negative 134 in here, which is crazy. So you can see everything stays inside the walls until it gets out there. So that is good. I'm going to take this panel, and we don't need to go back there really ever. So I'm just going to throw this back up here again. And because it's daytime, that means the temperature outside should be higher. So let's go outside, and I'm going to turn my automatic melting thing off just so we can make sure that we're not losing out on any of the oxide or volatiles while they're going through the chutes. So let's go over here. So we need to go to our IC, and we can just turn the IC off for now. There we go. And it is 15 degrees outside, so definitely stuff will melt if it comes in contact with the atmosphere, which obviously we don't want. So we're going to try it out and make sure we don't lose anything. Yeah, it's really cold. I'm definitely going to make some optimizations to this, and probably turning that cooler off when it hits like, I think like negative 10 is like a good barrier. So we'll throw our oxide in there. Take some volatiles. Throw our volatiles in there as well. Okay. Now let's go out there and make sure that we're not losing anything. Honestly, if we're losing like 1 or 2, I'm fine with that. Anything else is quite wasteful, so. But I think, honestly, we're going to be okay. Okay, so we lost 1, so we have 49. And that's probably because, you know, it like touches this wall for a second, so I'm assuming that's why we're losing 1. This one, yeah, we lost 1 as well. But losing 1 is totally fine with me. Now let's move all this stuff out of the way. And let me turn these off and just make sure that we're pressurizing that up nicely here. And we can turn the IC on. Okay, should be running. Just check it. Yep, it is slowly melting. So let's take a look at this, and we are officially gaining pressure. Well, that is the next step we needed to take. So now we're able to walk into our building. We're able to take our oxide and our volatiles, no matter if it's day or nighttime, hot or cold. We can drop them off. They'll go into these furnaces, and they will melt without a giant explosion. Wow, that melted really quickly. Probably because the temperature outside is high enough. So now they are melted, and once you turn these guys on, they are getting filtered into these tanks. So on the future episodes, I definitely want to make some optimizations to the air conditioning system inside of there so it doesn't get so cold. Also, we need to mix these fuels into a perfect mixture so that we're able to use them as fuel for our welding torch and for other things like the generator. The fuel generator, I think it's called. So in the future episodes, look forward to that. I hope you guys are enjoying the series. If you do, please leave a like. If you have any questions or comments, please go ahead and leave those below. I definitely appreciate them. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do so you don't miss out on any more exciting videos like this one. So I would like to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I will see you again next time. Bushwacka out.